Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. We are on chapter 16. We are hearing how Krishna is dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. And Kaliya is trying to bite him, but Krishna is too fast, too swift, too agile for him. And Kaliya is getting so much angry, and there is poison coming out from his nostrils and his mouth, and his eyes are like fire. And then Krishna starts dancing on his hoods in such a way that Kaliya, now all the poison is coming from his mouth, and he's like almost gonna die now. He's he's not able to hold his heads high anymore. Krishna is beating him down. So we can see that how we can say, certain times Krishna helps arrange certain circumstances for us, also that we may give up the poison which is in our heart, our envy, our pride, our arrogance. So the stage where anartha nivriti happens, one engages in hearing and chanting, and then one begins surrender to Krishna, and then the dirty things start coming out from the heart. Okay. Tasyakshibirkaralam udvamata shirasu.
Tasya Shibhirga Garilam Udomata Shirashu
Yatat samunna samunmati nishvasato ruchosche.
Yat Yat Samunamati Dishvashastoshu Rushoahi
Nityan padanun mayandam mayam bahuva.
Nityam Padannuna Mayanadamayam Bhavuva
Pushpe prapuchita ive hapuman purana.
Pushpe Prapujite Iva Punam Purana.
It's translation prepared by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Excluding poisonous waste from his eyes, Kaliya would occasionally dare to raise up one of his heads, which would breathe heavily with anger. Then the Lord would dance on it and subdue it, forcing it to bow down with his foot. The demigods took each of these exhibitions as an opportunity to worship him, the primeval personality of Godhead, with showers of flowers. So when Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, the different personalities of the heaven, they also came, the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, the Siddhas, the Charanas, the wives of the demigods, and then they were all serving Krishna by singing, dancing, playing musical instruments, offering prayers, showering flowers. The demigods are also happy to see Krishna in this pastime. Tanda Babirkun Pana Sahasro.
Tachitratanda Virugana Fana Sahasro
Raktam Mukheru Ruvaman Nipabhag Nagatra.
Raktam Mukheruruvamannipa Bhagna Gatra
Smritva Charachar Kurumpu Purusham Puranam.
Smritva Charachar Gurum Purusham Purunam
Narayanam Tam Aranam Manasa Jagama.
Narayanam tam varanam manashachagam.
My dear King Parikshit, Lord Krishna's wonderful, powerful dancing trampled and broke all of Kaliya's 1,000 hoods. Then the serpent, profusely vomiting blood from his mouth, finally recognized Sri Krishna to be the eternal personality of Godhead, the supreme master of all moving and non-moving beings, Sri Narayan. Thus, within his mind, Kaliya took shelter of the Lord. In chapter 16 of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada points out that whereas previously Kaliya was vomiting poison, now his poison was exhausted and he began to vomit blood. Thus he had been cleansed of the vile contamination within his heart that had manifested as serpent's venom. The word Smitma, remembering, is very significant here. The wives of Kaliya were actually serious devotees of Lord Krishna. And according to the acharyas, they had often tried to convince their husband to surrender to him. Finally, finding himself in unbearable agony, Kaliya remembered his wife's advice and took shelter of the Lord. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Kaliya's arch rival had traditionally been Garuda, the carrier of Vishnu. But now Kaliya realized that he was fighting an opponent who was thousands of times stronger than Garuda, and who therefore could be only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, Kaliya took shelter of the Lord. So, Prabhupada mentions in the Krishna book that, first when Krishna was dancing on Kaliya's hoods, all the poison was coming out from his mouth. And all this poison is what was actually in his heart. If we see it symbolically in the heart, we have so much poison, all the envy and the lust and the pride and the arrogance. But now Kaliya's wives were devotees of Krishna. And now Kaliya is understanding, I'm not able to defeat Krishna. Although Garuda is my enemy, here this personality who's dancing on my head is surely God. Nobody can be so powerful, you know, because he's much more powerful than Garuda. So this is God. Let me surrender to him. So he's remembering the instructions of his wives, and now he's surrendering to Krishna. So we also hear that after the poison finished from his heart, no more poison, so now blood was coming out. And now in this condition, he's taking shelter of Krishna. He has nowhere else to go, nobody else to protect him. His own strength now is completely gone. We may come under certain circumstances. Life may bring us to certain circumstance. And then what we actually need to do is take shelter of Krishna. Krishna is the only one who can save us and protect us. Krishnasya garbha jagato tibara vasan.
Krishnasya garbha jagatoti bharavashansanam.
Parshni prahara parirudhya fanat patra.
Parsni prahara pariguna fanatpatram.
Drishta himadyam upase duramushya patnya.
Dristva adyam upashedur amushya.
Artha shlatadva sanabhushnake shabanda.
Artha sadadvashana bhushana keshavandha.
When Kaliya's wife saw how the serpent had become so fatigued from the excessive weight of Lord Krishna, who carries the entire universe in his abdomen, and how Kaliya's umbrella like hoods had been shattered by the striking of Krishna's heels, They felt great distress, with their clothing, ornaments, and hair scattered in disarray. They then approached the eternal personality of Godhead. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Kalia's wives had been disgusted with their husband because of his demoniac activities. They had been thinking, if this atheist is killed by the punishment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then let him be killed. We will become widows and engage in the worship of the Supreme Lord. But then the ladies noticed Kalia's facial expression and other bodily features, and they understood that Kalia had indeed taken shelter of the Lord within his mind. Seeing that he was manifesting symptoms of humility, remorse, regret, and doubt, they thought, just see how fortunate we are. Our husband has now become a Vaishnava. Therefore, we must now endeavor to protect him. They felt affection for their repentant husband and severe distress because of his miserable position, and thus, all together, they went into the presence of the Supreme Lord. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining to us that Kalia's wives, they were all devotees of Krishna, and they were very upset with Kalia because he was so envious, he was killing everybody. So they were happy now that Krishna is going to kill him. He's at least going to be killed by the hands of Krishna. But now they are seeing there's a change in Kalia's heart. They are saying that he's taking shelter of Krishna. They are seeing that his envy and his anger and his, all this dirty things from his heart has come out. And he's actually exhibiting symptoms of humility. So now they are feeling sorry for him. Now they are like, oh, our husband has become a devotee. So let us protect him. Let us pray to Krishna to save him, to protect him. So that's how they are coming to Krishna. So they are devotees of the Lord. They were upset with Kalia. They were like, let him be killed. He's such a demon. Let him be killed by Krishna's hands. But now they are seeing that Kalia has taken shelter of Krishna. And so now they're gonna save his life by praying to Krishna. Is that okay? Comments, questions?
Yeah. So, like, it is so important that when no matter what you were previously, but when you become devotee, then
Yeah,
how people love you, no matter how much,
yeah,
because he has done so much, he has caused so much trouble, and he has hurt so many people, right? The cows were
that's
dying, and so many other things around him was dying. He was the
that's
reason.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So now that he's a devotee, then yeah, that's what matters. And so that's why the wives now want to support him because they're seeing he has a change of heart now. He's given up his envy and he's become humble. Yeah, very nice. Very good. Astam suvigna manosota purush kritarva.
Tastam suvigna manasho tapuru Kritarbha Kritarbha
Kayam nidhaya bhuvi bhutapatim pranemu.
Kayam nidhaya bhuvi bhutapatim pranemo
Sadhya kritanjali puta shamalasya bhartar.
Satvara Kritanjali Putashamalasya Bhartur
Mokshe psava sharanam prapana.
Mokshe Pashwa Sharanagam Sharanam Prapanna.
Their minds very much disturbed, those saintly ladies placed their children before them and then bowed down to the Lord of all creatures, laying their bodies flat upon the ground. They desired the liberation of their sinful husband and the shelter of the Supreme Lord, the giver of ultimate shelter, and thus they folded their hands in supplication and approached him. So now they are seeking Krishna's shelter, they are coming, they are bowing their heads before him, they are bringing their bodies, their children also, and they are laying flat in front of Krishna, Dandavat pranam to Krishna. They're taking the shelter of Krishna and they're praying now for Krishna to give liberation to Kaliya. Krishna is the ultimate shelter. Sukadev Goswami is saying here, who else can save anyone? Kaliya he is a demon. Now he is taken shelter of Krishna. And now, so the wives of Kaliya also praying to Krishna to help Kaliya. So we may have so many shelters. We may find shelter in so many things. Friends, family, society, possessions. But our ultimate shelter is Krishna. The real shelter is Krishna. Nagapatnya Ucha.
Nagapatnya Ucho.
Nyayo Hidanda Kritakil Vishesmims.
Nyayo Vidanda Kritakipsis means
Tava avatara kalane grahaya.
Tvavatara Khalani Graha
Ripo sutanam apitulya drishtir.
Vipu Shutanam Apitulya Dristir
Tatse damam phalam evan nushamsam shamsan.
Tatse Damam Phalam Evanusham Shan.
The wives of the Kaliya serpent said, the punishment this offender has been subjected to is certainly just. After all, you have incarnated within this world to curb down envious and cruel persons. You are so impartial that you look equally upon your enemies and your own sons. For when you impose a punishment on a living being, you know it to be for his ultimate benefit. So the wives, the Naga Patnis, they understand that Krishna is equal to everyone. They understand that it's not that, just because Krishna is punishing someone, Krishna is envious of that person. No. Punishment by Krishna is also benefit for that person. Krishna was dancing on Kaliya's hoods, and now it's for Kaliya's benefit. He's given up his envy, his demoniac nature, and he's become a devotee. And this is Krishna's impartiality. So, so Krishna's punished Kaliya, but he's become a devotee. So we can see taking shelter of Krishna is the ultimate beneficial activity for each and every one of us. So, is it okay if we stop here? Sorry, I just have to.
Yes, please. It's really okay,
Yeah.
Shilpa. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.